Alright, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we're going to be carrying on studying GDScript. Hopefully, I'm going to finish learning everything about GDScript because I keep getting distracted with various other things Godot related. But I mean, it's good. I'm exploring Godot, so I'm not complaining. Real quick, let me just make sure that we're not having the same issue that I had yesterday, where the stream, for whatever reason, refused to load. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it, because I wanna finish learning the basics of GDScript so I can move on to doing more complex things in Godot. There's so many things that I want to do. So many things. And for the time being, I think the AI related stuff that I wanted to do, anything Python related, basically, not necessarily only AI. It was going to be very heavily AI focused, but like, yeah, not necessarily only AI. Anything Python related that I was planning on doing within Godot or with Godot, I can go back to the previous plan, where I was gonna send the data in from an external application, and that should work out just fine. For that, I need to look into. They have something called. Hold on, wait, I hit the wrong. I hit the keys on the wrong keyboard. Okay, where am I supposed to go? Here. Okay, so in Godot, they have a couple of things when it comes to networking. Fortunately, if you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up an entire like server architecture, they do have helper classes that let you set that up to a certain extent. I I still need to explore that. I haven't had the chance to look into that. I want to do that, but I also want to implement the server from scratch. Just because I get to learn more that way. So so far what I've found is, what was it called? Packet peer UDP, I think. So there's UDP server and then there's packet peer UDP. I think packet peer UDP is what I'm looking for. I think so. Let me just oh, I keep forgetting that Godot has the documentation available within the editor itself. Okay, UDP packet peer can be used to send raw UDP data packets, raw UDP packets, as well as variants. So I need to look into this eventually. There's also what we saw earlier, which was the UDP server. I will look into this, but I kind of want to implement the thing myself as well. Oh, another very important thing that I need to look into with GDScript is doing async stuff. I need to see. Well, to put it simply, I need to see how complicated it's going to be to write async code. But like that makes it sound negative, doesn't it? I need to understand how asynchronous programming works in Godot, more specifically with GDScript. Which, now that I think about it, once I start looking into the C# side of things, I should probably also check how they expect us to achieve async programming on that end as well. Because like C#, it's got what, three so far? Three async programming patterns. One of them is what I was learning recently, task-based asynchronous programming, the TAP model. And that's what I intend on using, but I need to see how exactly they are making it possible for us to do async programming. Give me a second. I need to tie up my hair. Okay, so before jumping into the... Actually, you know what? At some point, for one of my streams, I should also do the MediaPipe thing. Learning how to use MediaPipe with Python to capture various types of tracking data. I don't know to what extent facial tracking is possible. To be honest, I don't care much for facial tracking anyways. I'm looking more for the entire body tracking. If facial tracking is there, that's a bonus, definitely. But I'm looking more for, like, at the very least, I'm looking for body tracking. So various body parts like hands, legs, torso, head. I need to be able to track these at the very least. Once I have the tracking set up for that, then I can look into more sophisticated stuff like, facial features and stuff like that. I'll have to see how I want to set that up on stream, because I don't want to attach the webcam to it. Well, what I was intending on doing was I was gonna attach... I was gonna run this script, like the whole motion capture, the whole body capture thing, body tracking thing. It was gonna take place on a different system. But for the sake of learning, I want to do it on my system. The good news is, it uses frames, and it's sort of analyzing the frames of the video. So technically, I should be able to pass in any video, and it should be able to track the data, right? So something I could do is I could, like, for example, go into, I don't know, go into VR chat and put on like a regular human looking avatar, something with very less bells and whistles and stuff, and something that has like animations. So I can do like waving animations and running animations and various types of, body movement animations. Something that will let me put the avatar in different poses. And once I have that video recorded, I can just use that video throughout the duration of the learning stream. So that way I don't have to connect the webcam. Which, to be fair, I could connect the webcam and just not show the thing. Just not show the feed. I mean, I could also just show the feed. It's not that big of a deal, but like, I don't want to. I don't know how else to say it. So I would rather do it with a video. So yeah, I could actually, I don't even need to do it. I don't even need to create the video myself. I can probably take any video and screen record it. I could record something off of YouTube and then just use that. The whole idea is to have a human being who has various poses. Oh, dude. There's probably videos of people... Not probably, there definitely are videos of people doing poses. Yo, I just remembered there are people who... Let me see if I can... Because I want to give a shout out to these people. Since I just remembered about them. I do follow them on Twitter. This is a couple that does poses for artists, be it 2D or 3D. Basically, they create pose references of various types. A lot of them are pics, so you get like nice references for various things, be it something simple like sitting down or standing up, or be it something complex like, specific poses between two people or one person's specific pose, and different types of like facial what do you call it, like expressions, different types of body poses and stuff like that. Basically they create art references, and they put it out on Twitter for free for everyone to see. So let me see if I can find them. I'm just gonna, oh, there. So the account is called the Pose Archives. These are two people. I earlier said this is a couple. I'm gonna take that back. I don't know. These are two people. These are two people that do that create pose references. So what I could do is I could take their reference. I could take their reference images, and if they have videos, maybe I think they have made videos where they have like a pedestal that's kind of spinning, and it shows the pose, the body from various angles. I'll have to be careful of what I'm showing though, because most of their poses are not clothed, as in they are in their undergarments, because I mean it's art reference, so like it helps to have more of like the body, more of the body shown, which I mean it's not necessarily gonna get me in trouble showing this, but it's I don't know. I mean, okay, I can find like maybe they've got clothed references as well. I can use some of those. These are images. I can look for videos. There's definitely videos on YouTube that I can use. Actually, that's a very good idea. I can use that, because like in Python, loading the video that you're using to how do I say this? The video that you are using that contains, you know, the human being, that contains you, that the let's say if you're taking like webcam footage, the video that you are taking that contains, you know, your pose and stuff, that gets divided up into frames once you load it into Python. So if it's a already made video, if you're loading a file, that gets divided up into frames. If you're doing like a live capture kind of thing, even that gets divided into frames. So technically it's not going to be all that different. At least in terms of me learning how to use MediaPipe, because there's going to be quite a bit I need to look into. For the time being, I need to be able to track body pose. Like there's various types of tracking that MediaPipe allows you to do. There's body pose, there's object tracking, there were a couple of different, let me look that up. Hold on. You know what, let me look it up on this system so I can show you guys. Give me a second. How do I... Okay, so let me just look up. MediaPipe docs. I just got the idea to look up MediaPipe, what do you call it? MediaPipe for Godot. I wonder if anyone made like an extension or something. Godot plugin for MediaPipe framework. Somebody did make something. This is for Godot 3.3. Damn, that's cool. Yeah, because MediaPipe itself is, I believe it's a C++ framework. Like the thing is written in C++. So I feel like if they were trying to... Actually, no, I don't know if that makes it easier for them to create a plugin for Godot. Like just because the library is in C++. Oh, I just remembered I was supposed to be showing you the thing. Okay, Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so warning, light mode, but it's light mode in one corner of the screen, so who gives a shit? So this is the MediaPipe website. I think learn more is going to show me the thing, but let me also look at this. So in solutions, okay, so they mention object detection, image classification, hand gesture recognition. Is there like an all thing? Yeah, let's look at all the solutions. So hand gestures is another one of them, right? I'm going to be using hand gestures later on, like specifically hand gestures for certain very specific tasks, because I need to. There was this thing I wanted to do a while back where I could set up hand tracking to where I could use one of my hands to control the mouse cursor, and then, like, I don't know, pinch or do some kind of hand gesture to simulate left mouse click, right mouse click. Give me a second. I need to hydrate. Okay. So there's hand landmark detection, hand gesture recognition, identify and track hands and fingers. Oh, okay, yeah, there's a difference there, because one is tracking the landmarks and the other is making sense out of the landmarks, like what kind of gesture it's meant to recognize. Then there's image segmentation, which I won't be using a whole lot. Maybe I might use it later on. By the way, image segmentation, if you are looking to do that, Facebook's AI research team, they're amazing. They release like a bunch of AI related research just for everyone to be able to benefit from it, for everyone to be able to study it. They've released a bunch of models. They've released a bunch of recently they released Llama 2. Prior to that, there was Llama 1, which they released it under a different kind of license. Like Llama 1, the way that it happened was they released it, but they were only releasing the model weights to like, you could get it, but you just had to fill out a form. So it was available to everyone for research purposes. You just had to fill out a form. Like, it was basically open source in that sense. You just had that one thing where you had to fill out a form. I think they were trying to track something. They were trying to create like their own analytics for how many people are using it. I don't know what their reasoning was. Anyways, they were giving it out to people once they fill out the form, right? So eventually, someone was going to leak the model weights. And I'm guessing that's what happened, because then eventually a bunch of other people started building different ports of Llama. I believe the original model was written in Python, but then they made one in C++. I think the idea behind that was to get to be able to implement it in a way that's faster. And they did a great job, dude. Like, it was amazing seeing the progress that the various AI researchers and the various contributors in that repo did. You can look up Llama CPP. That's Llama C++. I think maybe they have a Llama C++ or a Llama 2 C++ as well, because later on Llama 2 came out, which now that is available to everyone. Anyways, my point was the Facebook AI research team, they do a lot of great work. They put out a bunch of information for everyone to be able to benefit from. And they recently being a couple of months back, they released the Segment Anything model. I think it's called Segment Anything or Segment All. I think Segment Anything. And dude, I tested out this model through somebody else's implementation, not my own. It's pretty amazing. It's able to like, you give it a complex image and it is able to segment out different pieces from that. So like, for example, if you give it this kind of an image, it can segment out the chair, it can segment out each of these like parts, and maybe the plant separately, and then the table and stuff like that. I think it might even segment like the table legs separately. I don't remember exactly. It was pretty cool. Anyways, okay, getting back to this. So we have segmentation, we have face detection. Okay, so in a way, we have very basic. Wait, no, there's face landmark detection as well. Holy shit, I just noticed that. Dude, I need to test this out. And then this is what I'm more interested in, pose landmark detection, because this detects like body parts, and that's currently what I'm after. I haven't looked into the audio side of things. I don't think I'm gonna need to do that for this, for what I'm trying to do here. I probably won't be looking into that. But yeah, okay. Getting back to this, I don't know how I got sidetracked. Where were we? I think I was supposed to look at reference. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was talking about. I sort of branched out. I was talking about this, the UDP server and packet peer UDP and stuff like that. So I do want to test out these things as well. I want to look, because this is the only way that I'm gonna be able to do, at least from my point of view. This is the only way I'm gonna be able to do networking in Godot using GDScript. Well, this is not the only way. There are a couple of other solutions as well. They have like much higher level solutions than this, but I'm not looking for the higher level stuff. I'm looking for the lower level stuff. Because the higher level stuff, my understanding is that it's going to be operating on, it's usually built on top of the lower level stuff. And sockets it's pretty low level. So like anything that you want to build, like if you want to build a UDP server, that's probably going to be, you're going to be using sockets, right? Anyways, let's carry on reading. So we were looking at exports. No, we were looking at annotations. One of the types of annotations was exports. What does this say? Annotations affect how the script is treated by external tools and usually don't change the behavior. Okay, great. And then this talked about exports. Okay, any constant expression compatible with the required argument type can be passed as an annotation argument value. Wait, what? Any constant expression compatible with the required argument type can be passed as an annotation argument value. Okay. So does that mean any, like, if we are passing variables to an annotation, it has to be a constant? I think I need to test that out. Hold on. So let's do export num01. Hopefully I haven't created that already. Integer. Oh wait, I need to use something that requires something that's more like a function, like this. So this takes 2 arguments, right? No? Requires a variable of type float. Okay. All right. 0.0, 1.0. Are we good now? I think I haven't given a variable name and stuff. Like I didn't create the variable itself. All right, cool. So now let's say I have, I don't know, num02. This is also an integer. Let's give it a value of 5. Is the syntax fine? I think so. Okay. Now, what if I do this? Okay. So it doesn't accept variable, which it makes sense now that I think about it, because like workflow wise, because like this has to be exposed to the inspector, right? So you don't want a value that could possibly change. So that makes sense. So, okay. Do I need to use var if I'm still making a constant? Or is it just constant? What if I do constant var? Would that be acceptable? Expected constant name. No. Okay, so if it's a constant, then you just mention constant. All right, great. Good to know. And then this is accepted. Great. So where does it show up? I believe it shows up here. All right. I think this should also have an extra argument for steps. So like, can I do something like this? Would that be acceptable? I think it would, right? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I specified steps and then I get this what do you call it? Slider. Wait. That's not doing what I was expecting it to do. Hold on. Let's read up on export range. Oh. Easy. Alright, where is export? Here. So here, let's look up export range. Okay, there it is. Limiting editor input ranges. Allow integer values from so-and-so to so-and-so. Allow integer values from so-and-so to so-and-so. Allow floats from here and snap the value to multiples of 0.2. Let me just take that in. Multiples of 0.2. So if it's a multiple of 0.1, that's basically calling it a step, right? Yeah. 1.1. No. 0.1. Multiple. Okay, so let's multiply then. So 0.1 into 0 is 0, into 1 is 0.1, into 2 is 0.2, into 3 is 0.3. That makes sense, right? Okay. Then why is it doing this? Oh, is it because I haven't saved? Do I need to save the... No, it's not because I haven't saved. That's weird. What if I made this smaller? No, still doesn't work. Am I missing something here? Floats with easing hint. Display visual representation of the ease function when editing. Hold on, what's this about nodes? Oh, okay. You can create a field that accepts a node. Okay. Oh, is that the problem? The fact that this is not a float? Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I didn't notice that before. Okay. So let's carry on. I think I should move on from annotations and like come back to it when I have the need for various annotations, because I feel like I'm gonna be stuck here. Oh, okay. There's just one more, and then we can carry on. So, on ready annotation. When using nodes, it's common to desire to keep references to parts of the scene in a variable. As scenes are only warranted to be configured when entering the active scene tree, the subnodes can only be obtained when a call to node.ready is made. Wait, let me read that again. As scenes are only warranted to be configured when entering the active scene tree, the subnodes can only be obtained when a call to node.ready is made. Okay. Okay, let's carry on reading this. This can get a little cumbersome, especially when the external references pile up. For this, GDScript has the... Oh, okay, there's an ad playing. Give me 30 seconds. I'll hydrate in the meantime. Okay. So, what exactly are they saying here? So looking at this code, what I'm getting is we have a myLabel variable, which I'm assuming is meant to be a node, and they cannot get it unless the scene is loaded. So only once the scene is loaded can they get the node. All right. They can only get it once the scene is loaded. Does that mean that if I just created it like an export, like if I just exported the variable and I added the reference in the inspector, then this would not work? I'm trying to think of scenarios where I'm trying to recreate the problem that this is trying to solve, just so I can understand what exactly this does. Okay, let's carry on reading. This can get a little cumbersome, especially when nodes and external references pile up. For this, GDScript has the onReady annotation that defers initialization of a member variable until ready is called. So it won't initialize the variable until ready is called. It can replace the above code with a single line. Okay, warning. Applying onReady and any export annotation to the same variable doesn't work as you might expect. The onReady annotation will cause the default value to be set after the export takes effect and will override it. Okay, so this is if you are using both of them together. Okay, well, I don't fully understand this, but I guess once I run into a problem that requires this solution, then I'll understand it. Because like so far what I'm getting is that it only loads, it only assigns the node to this variable. It only assigns the reference to this variable when the scene is loaded. And like, okay, but let's say I created let's say some node O1, and let's just call this a node, right? So that creates, or it should create, yeah, that creates the field over here that I can then assign to. So I can just drag and drop anything in here. Since this is just a node, it's not a node 2D or 3D specifically. So like, what would the difference be between this and using onReady to wait for the scene to be loaded before it can get... Well, okay, so another thing to consider here is that I'm not getting the node. I'm assigning the reference. Like, would that be the same as getting the node? Because like, I'm kind of understanding the problem that they're trying to solve. I'm just having trouble like picturing a situation. Because like, it could be that the script is trying to load, the script is trying to assign this node in a scene that, or the script is trying to assign this node which exists in a scene that hasn't been loaded yet. Right? I think so. Yeah, no, okay, I need to Google this to understand why. I feel like the best way I'm going to be able to understand this is if I recreate the problem that this is trying to solve. So I'm gonna look it up later on. I'm sure somebody is gonna have sort of an example that I can follow, or somebody is going to be able to explain. They're going to be able to define the problem, because like, I'm trying to understand the problem here. Okay, hold on. Let's try reading it one last time. When using nodes, it's common to desire to keep references to parts of the scene in a variable. Okay. As scenes are only warranted to be configured when entering the active scene tree, the subnodes can only be obtained when a call to node.ready is made. Wait, is node.ready called on every single node? I should look into that later. Okay. Moving on from this. Then we have the comments. Okay. Then we have line continuation. This is good to know in case my lines become kind of long, because like, as I make more and more complex things in Godot, my lines are gonna get kind of long. Okay. All right. So you can do a similar thing in Python. In Python, they have two ways of doing it, which I had no idea about until I actually looked it up. One of them is this way, and I can't remember what the other one was, but it was good in its own way. It was good. I think another thing I didn't know about was that you can assign, because like in C#, I'm used to, I guess you can say I'm spoiled because of C# syntax, but like in C# you can cram like 5 or 10 entire statements into, okay, I'm just giving an exaggerated example. I've never done that, but I've crammed like 3 to 4 statements into one line, just because they were simpler. They were simple statements and they could fit in that one line, and I was the only one reading the code. So like in C# you can do that. As long as there's a semicolon there, the compiler will know that, yeah, this is one statement, that is another statement, there's another statement. So where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So when you're doing that kind of thing, so you have that, right? And you're also able to split up. Let's say you have a function call that you're making, and the function has a bunch of arguments that it takes. It's like maybe 5 to 10 arguments, let's say. And if you try to fit everything into one line, it'll be a very long line. and the programmer would have a hard time reading it because each time they would have to go to the end of the line, right? The end of the line might be off the screen or something. So you can then break it up into multiple lines just for the sake of organization, and the compiler understands that, yeah, this is still one statement. So I was kind of spoiled with that, but then once I started doing stuff in Python, in Python, there are certain limitations when it comes to this kind of thing, but in certain situations, it does allow this thing that I just described, where you can like split it up into multiple lines. So that was good to know. I found that out like a couple months back, I think. This is after years of doing Python. For some reason, it hadn't occurred to me. I think the reason it didn't occur to me was because of the limitations that Python has, like all the limitations that I had seen in terms of syntax. So that's probably why I assumed that, okay, it's not possible. But it is possible. Okay. Yeah, we can do line continuation. Let's just read this if there's some extra information. A line of code in GDScript can be continued on the next line by using a backslash. Add 1 at the end of a line, and the code on the next line will act like... Wait. Add 1 at the end of a line, and the code on the next line will act like it's where the backslash is. Okay, so that's a continuation then. Okay. Cool. Great. Give me a sec. Okay. Next, built-in types. Built-in types are stack allocated. They are passed as values. This means a copy is created on each assignment or when passing them as arguments to functions. The exceptions are object, array, dictionary, and packed arrays, such as packed byte array, which are passed by reference, so they are shared. Did I take my hydration? Oh yeah, okay, we're good. For another 3 minutes, we're good. Okay, which are passed by reference, so they are shared. All arrays, dictionary, and some objects have a duplicate method that allows you to make a copy. That's good to know. That is good to know. Have I tried creating an array in GDScript yet? I don't think I have. Let's try that. So let's do something like what type would I specify? How would I specify an array type? Does it just take the square brackets like C#? Okay, let's do some array O1. Does this work? Expected type for collection. Would it be array.new? Okay, I should look into arrays. Okay, let's carry on. I'm sure we'll get to collections eventually. All right, basic built-in types. A variable in GDScript can be assigned to several built-in types. Null is an empty data type that contains no information and cannot be assigned any other value. Bool is short for Boolean. True and false. Integer is... What kind of integer is the default? It is stored as a 64-bit value equivalent to int64. Okay. Okay. So the default int is a 64-bit integer. Then we have float. What is float stored as? A 64-bit. Currently, data structures such as vector2, 3, and packed float 32 arrays store 32-bit single precision floats. Okay, float stores real numbers, including decimals, using floating point values. Okay, great. So int's default is 64-bit, and float's default is also 64-bit. Hold on. Wait, are we able to specify The size of the integer in GDScript, is that a thing? Let's find out. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. String, a sequence of characters in Unicode format. String literals can contain the following escape sequences. Okay, that's all of your all of the basic stuff that you see. Oh, wait, what is U? Oh, this is how you specify a Unicode code point. Okay, that is good to know. Okay. And then there's the way to delimit double quote and single quote as well, and backslash as well. Okay, there are two ways to represent an escaped Unicode character above that. As a UTF-16 surrogate pair or as a UTF-32 code point. Also, using slash followed by a new line inside a string will allow you to continue it in the next line without inserting a new line character in the string itself. I guess let's test that out. So we can get rid of a bunch of this stuff. This is a sentence. Oh wait, that works? Give me a second while I run this. That didn't work. That added a tab that didn't go to the next line. Wait, what did that say? Also, using slash followed by a new line inside a string will allow you to continue it in the next line without inserting a new line character. GDScript also supports format strings. Let's look into that. Oh, is this a way to add variables into your strings, or is this a way to format different types of data in the string itself? I think it's both. I think it might be both. Like, it provides you with that option. For the time being, I don't need to look too much into string formatting. I guess I can get into it like when the time comes. Okay, moving on. We can move on from the Unicode thing. I can test this thing out at some other point. It's not that important right now. Okay. String name. An immutable string that allows only one instance. Oh, give me a second. I need to hydrate. Okay. What was I saying? An immutable string that allows only one instance of each name. An immutable string that allows only one instance of each name. They are slower to create and may result in waiting for locks when multi-threading. In exchange, they are very fast to compare, which makes them good candidates for dictionary keys. String name. It allows only one instance of each name. Like, name in what sense? What kind of name are we talking about? Like an identifier, like a variable name? Let me look at the docs for this. String names are immutable strings designed for general purpose representation of unique names, also called string interning. Okay, two string names with the same value are the same object. Two string names with the same value are the same object. Comparing them is extremely fast compared to regular strings. You will usually just pass a string to methods expecting a string name, and it will be automatically converted, but you may occasionally want to construct a string name ahead of time with the string name constructor, or in GDScript, the literal syntax so and so. Okay. Still kind of confused about... Okay, hold on, let's... Okay, let's do str01 string name. And then str02 string name. Let's do sum. And then let's do sum. Okay. Now this should definitely throw an error, right? A variable str has the same name as a previously declared variable. So, okay, one use case that I'm seeing of this is, like it mentioned, comparing strings in this case would be pretty fast. So you're able to just pass a string into a method that is expecting a string name, and it gets converted automatically. Okay, all of strings methods are available in this class too. They convert the string name into a string, and they also return a string. They're highly inefficient. This is highly inefficient and should only be used if the string is desired. Note, in a Boolean context, a string name will evaluate to false if it is empty. Okay, otherwise a string name will evaluate to true. The not operator cannot be used. Instead, is empty should be used to check for empty string names. Give me a second. Let me just make sure the music is still going. Nope, it paused. Okay, let me just make sure it's continuing. Okay, great. You know what? Okay, I'll get to string name when the time comes. Okay, node path, a pre-parsed path to a node or a node property. It can be easily assigned to and from a string. They're useful to interact with the tree to get a node, or affecting properties like with tweens. Alright, then there's vector built-in types, vector2 for 2D containing x and y fields. It can be, okay, that's good to know. It can be accessed as an array. Then you have the, I guess it's the integer equivalent, whereas the other one is just float. Then you have rect2, a 2D rectangle type containing two vectors. Oh, so this contains two vectors, position and size. So position would then be, well, it's rect2, right? So then it would be vector2. Size would, I'm guessing, also be vector. Yeah, size would also be vector2. Also contains an end field, which is position plus size. end field, position plus size. Oh, is that like the other corner of the rect? I'm guessing, because position, so if that's the case, then I'm guessing position starts at like one of the corners, and then end gives you like the other corner of it. I think. I'm not sure. I can test that out later. Then we have okay, vector 3, vector 3i, transform 2D, plane. I haven't used plane yet. I also haven't used quaternion yet. Quaternion is, it's, as it says, it's to represent 3D rotation. Something I really liked in Godot is that when I was messing around with like stuff that had to do with rotations, I didn't see quaternions mentioned once. Even like the regular like the rotation of a transform, for example, it gives it to you, I believe, in angles in radians. So like it gives the angle in radians on a specific axis. And the kinds of calculations that I was trying to do at that time, it was really simple for those calculations. So I liked how there's a bit of a different approach to rotation in Godot. Okay, then there's axis align bounding box. Okay. Then there's basis, 3x3 matrix used for 3D rotation and scale. Okay, so you can use this to make like a transformation matrix, I'm guessing. It contains 3 vector fields, x, y, and z, and can also be accessed as an array of 3D vectors. Okay. There was another thing that I really liked. You have access to the transformation matrix of whatever transform you are trying to. I don't remember the specifics exact. Hold on. I think I can get it from here. It was really convenient because like in Unity you would need to. It's not that it would be hectic to do the calculations. It's just that this specific thing, accessing this specific thing, required some other ways. How do I get the current transform? Is it just transform? Transform dot. What was it? What does transform? Isn't transform the matrix? Local transform 2D. Okay. A 2x3 matrix. Okay. Wait, 2x3 matrix. 2x3. That's columns by rows, right? 2x3 matrix. If it's a transformation matrix, the 2x3 matrix would then contain the x basis vector, the y basis vector, and then whatever the translation component is. So like how far away from the origin you want this thing to be. I think so, right? Column. I'm trying to remember. Okay, let's read this. Oh yeah, there it is. X, Y, and origin. So it's a 2x3 matrix used for 2D linear transformations. So something I really liked is that you can get the X, Y, and Z basis vectors, and it's easy to do certain types of calculations with that. I have done a bit of stuff with that in shaders, especially when trying to rotate an object. As an example, if you are trying to rotate an object in the shader, in the vertex shader, you can do it by creating a rotation matrix. That rotation matrix basically rotates the X, Y, and Z basis vector. Well, depending on what axis, around which axis you are trying to do the rotation, you would have to change the X, Y, or Z basis vectors. And in case you don't know, the basis vectors basically tell us what direction the x, y, and z point in. And if you change where they're pointing, you're basically rotating the object. So you're pretty much changing the direction that that the basis vectors point in. Okay. Carrying on. Then we have why am I reading all of these? Well, okay, I need to read it. I need to read arrays especially. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. So we are on to wait. Let's read the rest. We have engine built-in types, color. Then RID. It's good to know that there's HSV as well. You're not just limited to RGB. Okay. Then RID, which is resource ID. Servers use generic RIDs to reference opaque data. Okay. Object base class for anything that is not a built-in type. Okay. All right. Moving on to containers. Container built-in types. Array. Generic sequence of arbitrary objects. Oh, you don't specify a type when you're creating an array? Is this it? Does that work, or is there an error here? Oh, yeah, let's get rid of this. That's good, right? Okay, now can this be exported as well? It should be, we should be able to export this, right? Maybe it'll show up as a list or something. num03 is an array of size. Oh yeah, okay, there it is. And oh, this is convenient, dude. You can like reorder this in whatever way you want. That's, dude, nice. I'm excited for that. Like this is a silly thing to get excited about, right? But like, it took Unity a while to get reorderable. I think, or I think they're called reordered lists. They're basically lists that you can, when they're exposed to the inspector, you can then reorder their what do you call it? Their items, their elements. You can reorder them by just clicking and moving the cell up or down. Prior to that, you just had a list of items and you could change specific ones. You couldn't really move stuff up and down. You had to create like your own custom solution for that. Okay. Generic sequence of arbitrary object types, including other arrays or dictionaries. See below. The array can resize dynamically. The array can resize dynamically? Oh, that's interesting, dude. Okay. So it's kind of like a list then. Arrays are indexed from index 0. Negative indices count from the n. Okay, good to know. All right, typed arrays. Oh, this is how you specify the type. Okay. Then we have packed arrays, then we have dictionary. Then we move on to signal and callable and variables. Okay, static variables. Give me a second. I'm just going through this quick to see like what more am I gonna need? What more do I need to read? Okay, so I looked into enums already. Then there's functions. Oh, I didn't know you could do this. This is convenient. This is very convenient. If a function contains only one line of code, it can be written like so and so. This is kind of like using a lambda operator to create like a one-line kind of function. So like in C# you would do something like this is gonna throw an error, but like this is how you do it in C#. You do something like this, and then either the return statement, you could do like return something something, or I think it would, if you have a variable in here, it would be satisfactory to just return the variable, or you could do some kind of calculation on the variable. Okay, moving on. Okay. Referencing functions. Oh, this is where you are able to use a function as a delegate. You're able to like pass it. Functions are first class items in terms of the callable object. Referencing a function by name without calling it will automatically generate the proper callable. This is used to pass functions as arguments. Okay, yeah. We've already seen one situation where that was needed, like when you are calling on connect. No, when you're calling connect, not on connect. When you're calling connect on any signal, you have to supply it with a message. So you have to supply the signal itself, like what's the signal name, but wait, node.con. Hold on. How do you access this? Wait, I have a node there, right? Okay, some node 01. Is it just connect? Yeah, okay. So that's the signal name. And then there's the callable. So you can provide it with a signal name, and then the callable would be the function that you're trying to call, and you would define the function somewhere here in this script. So basically then this script gets connected, this function gets connected to that signal, so to speak. So basically whenever that signal fires, it's gonna invoke this function. It's gonna call this function. Okay, give me a second, let me hydrate. It's starting to, for some reason it's starting to become hard to talk. Okay, referencing functions, lambda functions. Okay. Then what else is there? Static functions. A function can be declared static. When a function is static, it has no access to the instance member variables or self. A static function has access to static variables. That makes sense. Also, static functions are useful to make libraries of helper functions. Yep, that makes sense. Lambdas cannot be declared static. Statements and control flow. Okay. So we're gonna have to look into this. We have to look into while, which while is not like, there's not too much to look into. For is it's less like C# and more like Python, where you're iterating over an iterable collection of some sort. Or I think you can just specify range as well. That works as well. Which technically is also an iterable, I think. I don't know how it's represented in GDScript, but like I think in Python the reason it works is that it's an iterable. Then you have match, which I'm assuming is switch. Yeah, it's the equivalent of switch, the switch statement found in other languages, but offers some additional features. Crash course for people who are familiar with switch statements. Replace switch with match. Remove case. Okay. Remove any breaks. Okay. All right. Change default to underscore. Oh, okay. All right. Control flow. The patterns are matched from top to bottom. If a pattern matches, the first corresponding block will be executed. After that, the execution continues below the match statement. The special continue behavior in match supported in Godot 3 was removed in Godot 4. Okay. Okay, so there's some stuff that we need to look into in terms of pattern matching. Then there's classes. I need to look into classes as well, definitely. Okay, classes is going to be, I think it's going to be like its own. I think it's going to be its own stream. Probably. Because I'm definitely not finishing this whole page today. Okay, exports, properties. Oh, you can have setters and getters as well. I had no idea. I thought you were limited to just fields, and the fields are looked at as properties. Because like in C#, you have fields and you have properties. Like a class can have it can have fields and it can have properties. And one of the differences there is a field is just a variable that you can assign a value to directly, but a property, it has the extra option of a set and get function. So within within the set and get functions, you can do accidentally hit my pop filter. Okay. With properties, the advantage is you have set and get methods. So within these blocks, you can add extra code to do any extra kind of processing or validation of some sort if you need to. So it's super convenient for that. You can also do stuff like creating read-only properties. So you can implement a property that has a public getter but a private setter. So you cannot set a value for that property from outside the class. It won't allow you to do that. You can just get the value. You can just read the value. So yeah, it's convenient. Okay, moving on. What is tool mode? Okay, I think I read about this. This is for like stuff you wanna execute like within the editor itself, right? By default, scripts don't run inside the editor, and only the exported properties can be changed. In some cases, it is desired that they run inside the editor as long as they don't execute game code or manually avoid doing so. Okay, for this, okay, yeah. Where was I? For this, the tool annotation exists and must be placed on top of the file. Okay, memory management. I will look into memory management later because for the time being, I haven't gotten to the point where I need to do memory management or I need to look into memory management. Assert. The assert keyword can be used to check conditions in debug builds. These assertions are ignored in non-debug builds. This means that the expression passed as an argument won't be evaluated in a project exported in release mode. Due to this, assertions must not contain expressions that have side effects. Otherwise, the behavior of the script would vary depending on whether the project is run in a debug build. Alright, okay. Going back up. So we were here. We were in arrays. We looked at type arrays. Well, typed arrays. So arrays have their own, like, arrays have like the typical array functions, right? Like, or properties, like, well, properties and functions. Stuff like size and functions to add more items. If you can add more items, if it's dynamically resizable, can't you also pop items off the list, off the array? Let me just, so let's do array O1 and let's make this an array of type. Wait, how do you specify? Is it square? Okay, it's square. So let's, you know what, for the time being, let's let it infer the type. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, does this work, or is it throwing an error? No, it's not. Okay, so we can print this out. Okay, and then what functions do we have? Do we have pop at? Okay. Is there a remove at? So what's the difference? What is, hold on, I need to read up. Okay, wait. Let's do remove at. Removes an element from the array by index. If the index does not exist in the array, nothing happens. To remove an element by searching for its value, use erase. Note, this method acts in place and doesn't return a value. Oh. Okay, on large arrays, this method will be slower if the removed element is close to the beginning of the array. This is because all the elements placed after the removed element have to be re-indexed. Okay. Note, position cannot be negative. Alright. Is there a fine thing here? Okay, so what was it? Pop at. So let's look at pop at. Removes and returns the element. Okay, so is this the same as, is this basically the same as remove at, but it returns the value that it's removing? Removes and returns the element of the array at index position. At index position. If negative, the position is considered relative to the end of the array. Leaves the array untouched and returns null if the array is empty, or if it's accessed out of bounds. It leaves the array untouched. An error message. Wait, so does that mean it doesn't resize the array? So it's just changing that one. Oh, something is going on here. Okay, yeah. So does that mean, I think I should close a bunch of these because it's starting to slow things down a little bit. Okay. What was I going to do? Yeah, so we'll print this out and then we will pop the value at, let's say, index 1. So the value 2 should be popped off. And then we can just print this same thing out again. So let's see what gets printed. Okay, so it removed, right? Let's try array.remove at. Let's say now remove again. In this case, it should be removing 3, so we should be return just, 1 and 4. Okay, let me Google this. because I'm pretty sure there's something I'm missing here. Maybe it was mentioned in the documentation. I think so. Hold on. Are there links here? Okay, so we have methods. We have append. We have what all am I looking for? I'm looking for pop and remove, right? Okay. We have remove at and we have pop at. Okay. Removes and returns the element of the array at index position. If negative, then so and so, fine. Leaves the array untouched and returns null if the array is empty. Oh, is that what it meant? That if the array is empty, then it leaves the array untouched? Or if it's accessed out of bounds? Okay, an error message is printed when the array is accessed out of bounds. You know, something I've noticed, I think I need to test this out as well later on. Like C# has the concept of okay, well, I mean, yeah, I guess C# as well, right? Because with C# it would just crash the entire thing. So like, okay, C# has the concept of exceptions, right? There can be exceptions for various things, for various situations, like I don't know what example to give that would be accurate. Basically a situation that, so like, okay, let's say you have a function that is expecting a certain type of value, but a different another type of value was given, which was technically acceptable. Oh, you know what? Okay, a good example, I guess, would be something sockets related. I'm having a hard time thinking of unhandled exception examples. Yeah, okay, null reference exception. That's a very good one. So let's say you try to access a variable that's supposed to contain something, but the variable happens to be null. You're trying to access it. Let's say it's supposed to have a reference to a class or something, or let's say it's supposed to hold a class instance of some sort, but like the thing hasn't been instantiated. The instance of the class that this variable is supposed to hold, that instance hasn't been created. So if you try to access this variable, you're gonna get a null reference exception, and it's gonna say I forgot what the exact message was. I think it was object reference not created on the instance of an object. Hold on, let me get this is like a super common one that I'm for some reason I'm not able to remember. C# object reference not set to an instance. Okay, I think this is what it is. Object reference not set to an instance. I think so. Not set to an instance of an object. Okay, I think that was the message. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. It's basically a null reference exception, and this is a very good example because like you do have exceptions of various types in C#, right? Exceptions can occur, and you need to find a way to handle those exceptions. So generally the way to do that is to have try-catch blocks, or well, in later C# versions they made I believe they added some syntactical sugar for try-catch. I don't remember exactly what it is, but like they did add something that makes it a tiny bit easier, a tiny bit more convenient or better looking or whatever. But yeah, okay. The older method was try catch blocks. So basically, you could say try so and so code, and then catch so and so exception, and you can catch. I think you can catch multiple types of exceptions, and then in each of those blocks, you could catch, like, okay, so when you create the catch block, you also specify an exception type, an exception variable, and if that type of exception has been raised, then you can execute the code within that catch block. So that way, if you have different types of exceptions and you have handled those exceptions, then you can stop the program from crashing. So if you've created code blocks for each of those exceptions that you think could possibly occur, then anytime one of those exceptions occurs, it'll be handled by the code block that you created, and so your program won't exit, your program won't crash. But if you haven't handled those exceptions, if there is basically any unhandled exception, the program can crash. And the same thing happens in Unity as well. But I believe in Unity, it's not the program that crashes. I think it's the mono behavior itself. I think so. I'm trying to remember. I believe it's the mono behavior itself that crashes, not the entire game. I think so. Yeah. I think it's I mean, there might be situations where the game itself crashes, but like I think in the case of Unity, it's the specific mono behavior that sort of, let's say, crashes. It stops executing after that. Why was I talking about this? I think I was yeah, okay, so we were reading about, how did I get here? We were talking about, I think I was trying to find out how, oh yeah, so I think Godot has like a different way of handling unhandled exception situations. Because I'm not seeing many cases where like the script crashes and stops working. It just throws an error. And I think after that, the script carries on. We should try doing that. We should try breaking a script with an unhandled exception of some sort. Or with like a bunch of different types of unhandled exceptions. We should try that. That can be a fun experiment. I believe they have a proper way of handling it. Like, it doesn't crash the entire script. It'll throw an error, but I think the script carries on executing. Yeah, I don't think it should crash. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, okay. You know what? I think that's gonna be it for today, because I'm slowly starting to have trouble talking. So and plus it's also getting a little. It's getting to about that time when I need to end my stream. I started the stream a little late today, so I'm not able to go for too long. I wasn't planning on going for too long anyways. I'll carry on reading this. Hopefully I'll get quite a bit into it. Like, I'll get through a decent portion of it before the next stream. And then we can start building some complex things in Godot. So yeah, okay, that's going to be it for today's stream. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Peace.